As you all know, what has been ongoing at the moment as regards the monarchs in Nigeria, not just the southwestern part of Nigeria, but the southern part of Nigeria, and in fact, the northern part of Nigeria, the monarchs have been facing a lot of challenges. That is because we do not live in an era where monarchs are the lords. It's no longer so, as democracy and the kind of constitution and government that we have does not permit monarchs. Monarchs are even paid. Monarchs are installed by the governors of that state as they have no voice. Monarchs do not even speak in support of the people that they are kings over most of the times, as they are only interested in politics. Do not forget, the governor brings in a monarch, a king, and some are royalties. Normally they are royalties, some of them are royalties because it's a very shady business there. Anyway, for a long time now, many of the monarchs have been said to be misbehaving. Some have been said to be corrupt. Some have been said to speak from two sides of their mouth. They do not speak in support of their people. I'm not talking of the whole nation, but at least the people that they are king over, the people that still call them kings. Monarchs, HRN. There is a price to pay for lowering standards, for settling for less, and for outright sellout. Ethical sellout gave Nigeria moral slackers as political leaders, members of a virulent strain of unwashed humans who, like coronavirus, are now replicating themselves across the landscape. Today, the worst are imposing their reign over the best, and the land is helpless. The Trial of Yoruba Kings. This is by Lasisi Olagunjo. Today, the worst are imposing their reign over the best, and the land is helpless. The Yorubas have plugged into the circuit of decay. They now have a bold cast of Obas who, with subversive gusto, struggle for space and seats, eat dingily in public, go to strip clubs, and lead roguish Omoniles to exchange blows at building sites. They beat or get beaten, and with choice wines, they advertise abominable acts on YouTube. Will it be right to conclude that the recent events around the Oluwo of Iwo Oba Abdulrasheed Adewale Akambi are symptomatic of a culture in decline? We know that every culture has its ups and downs. We also know that days, no matter their brightness, must suffer sunset. The Yoruba society used to be a perfectionist realm. Its kingship system has seen days when it was all about duties and responsibilities, undergirded by covenants to do good. It is used to be a secure sacred way powered by post-dated curses to reign in defiance. This should explain why, before he is invested with the sacred powers of the throne, the Oba-elect is literally stripped naked in seclusion. It is a system, clinical way of checking for any deformity, physical and mental, and to bind the chosen one to his words against potential acts of covenant breaking. It comes out wrapped in clothes of immaculate innocence. Oba Akambi was in tribunals in June 2016, 6 months after he became Oluwo. He showed passion and uncommon energy and zeal to do what he thought his mission was. I remember he told us several things about the unusualness and hinted on why he was breaking some myths of Obaship and why he would break more. He was already in the news. He did what no Oba had done, putting a crown on his wife's head publicly. He wondered why anyone would complain that he wore his crown atop a pair of jeans trousers. If they were jeans wears in the days of his ancestors, he said they would wear them. I heard him and wondered whether the kingmakers did not tell him at Ipebi that among the Yoruba, the king's asho, cloth, his dress, embroidery, and bata ileke, beaded shoes, and indeed is all speak to the totality of the people's cultural existence. Is dress no longer a major window to what a scholar describes as the Yoruba positive qualities of their individuality? And Oba has no discretion to express here on what he wears and now he dresses. He must conform to the codes he swore to at the beginning of the journey. I knew this, but I couldn't tell Oluwo that he was wrong. Reporters are plebeians. They cannot intrude into an Oba's supreme mind and presence. And wardrobe, Oluwo said so many other things, some of those things very progressive, some others very alarming, iconoclastic. He said he would use Ashoke to make suits. and that it is too late to insist that Yoruba youth wear agbada with the old fabrics. While he talked, my interest was focused on his account of the pre-installation seclusion, the instructions on the do's and don'ts of the burden he was about to put on his head, and what he would do with the orders he got. The Oba said he was, among other things, tortured to be deliberately slow in his strides. A sprinter could become an Oba, but an Oba must not be a sprinter. A king must walk slowly and steadily. I heard them, but where am I going is very far, he told us. So they, his chiefs, have now learned to catch up with me. He laughed. Again, I wished I could tell him that he was wrong, that his age notwithstanding, the day he was crowned Oba was the day he became the oldest man in his kingdom. And an elder must take it easy, literally, metaphorically. He must walk the land very carefully such that the ground would not cave under his weight. I could not tell him anything on this. That assignment was for those who prepared him for the throne of his fathers. Those ones must now do a self-assessment on how well they discharge their duties to their king, who has now taken his kingship journey in a dash to somewhere far from the sacred seat his people gave him. But then I am too illiterate to ancestral things to understand where else a man could be rushing to after becoming Oba. The Yoruba Oba is not allowed to be a sceptic who questions universal truths and attacks the culture and tradition is what to protect. Oluwo says is Arole Olodumare, and Arole is the one who is the fourth for the departed, but Olodumare is God and needs no introduction as the infernal, the Almighty who goes nowhere and therefore needs no Arole. Every Yoruba king is subject to the commands of the divine. They say Oba is Ikeji Orisha, second to divinity. But the Oluwo salute himself at Alashe Lori Orisha. He said he's more than any idol and he's not underneath any idol. Commander of the divine. That is difficult for me to understand. It is alien to the worldview of the Yoruba. Again, every Oba in Yoruba land, including Oluwo, is an Omo Oduduwa. On this fact, the Oluwo has also gone a step ahead of all others. He got a son and named him Oduduwa. So with this king, the Trinity is complete. His Majesty the King, his son, the father of Oduduwa, and also the commander dishing out orders to the realm of the spirit, Alashe Lori Orisha. In character and comportment, a king is not allowed to roam freely. He must not struggle with the leash imposed by his culture. Where a king breaks loose, the land bleeds in shock and in revulsion. A king is no more than the principal trustee to his people's past and present, and a bridge to the future. A man has no private personal journey once he becomes an Oba. The decision to lead from the traditional realm is a voluntary immolation of personal causes and causes. An Oba must move shoulder to shoulder with his people in destination and destiny. The elaborate seen and unseen rituals and rites of installation, including the wearable apparels, particularly the crowns, cement the fusion of destinies. The late Oragun of Ila, Oba Williams Adetono Ayeni, put it in more elegant way. He told a researcher on July 29, 1977 in his palace that when a woman becomes an Oba and receives the Asian crown on his head, the Ori destiny of the crown and the Ori of the man are brought together. Then the Ashe of the crown is born to the head of the man. He said it was at this point that the man becomes an Oba and must obey all the rules of the realm. The he beat me and I didn't beat him events of the last 1 month as have exposed the institution of Obaship to plebeian scrutiny. The horrendous happenings have turned the mask showing clearly to the uninitiated street that the idol is actually a naked doll. The Oluwo is not the only Oba with chickens of controversy pecking at his royal robe. He is just the one in the news because of the sumptuous meals of controversy he serves daily. I watched the video clip of another Oba from a part of Lagos State being beaten up at a building site where he had gone to fight over a piece of land. An Oba is not crowned to be controversial. Kingship in all realms is a conservative system. Persons who desire to be free from rules and mores, whose passion is to break laws, have no room in the ancestral space of Yoruba kings. That is why the Yorubas are, or used to be, very choosy in picking their Oba. There are general criteria for appointing an Oba which cut across kingdoms. There are also specific, restrictive, sacred, irrefutable rules and laws sanctified by ancestors long departed which guide the choice of an Oba. Writing on conflict resolution in the traditional Yoruba political system, Anthony Ojigbo in 1973 article cited Lloyd 1960 at page 227 on his process in an Ekiti community called Okeewi, where he says it is the law among other general criteria that a king should symbolize all that is good, virtuous, and pleasant to behold, and thus he himself must be free of any physical handicaps or limitation. A prospective Oba in his town satisfied all the conditions, but he was still rejected because he was too tall. You would think that impressive eyes should be an all-time, all-cultural asset. Ladies love them, but no, in this case. The agreement was that with his imposing eye, the candidate will be looking down literally and symbolically on his people. And that is what a Yoruba king or chief must not do. About 100 years ago, May 1920, in Oshogbo, capital of Osun State, the town was going through the process of picking a king, and all candidates had to go through processing mill. The chiefs had very interesting reasons for rejecting the candidate who lost. One prince who was a great farmer who pays for service was found to have a family which reigned a long time ago and had an evil reputation when he did reign. Another candidate who was the son of an Oba, who restored order to the town after a previous Oba malpractices, lost because he was credited with having served a term of imprisonment for stolen goods, while other worse crimes were allegedly traced to him. His brother, who would have been chosen to his stead, was found to be an invalid. Yet another candidate was rejected because of the history of his family, slave dealing propensities. Now, this is cited in Akilade MO 2017, Oshogbo, the melting pot, at pages 118 and 119. Every kingdom in Yoruba land has a history of rigorous screening, rejection, or approval of Obaship candidate, but do they still take these ennobling steps? Today, kingmakers sell thrones to create Obas who purge sacred groves and sell communal lands to landless terrorists for the desert. And damn the consequences. It was strictly a matter of cash, but the king writes the history of his lineage every day. You would see from Oshogbo samples how sour the grapes eaten by some people's ancestors set the teeth of their descendants on edge. In a certain town in Osun State, there is an annual festival during which long dead kings are mentioned, one after the other, with the gains of their reign celebrated in a ritual serial drumbeats. They call it Ika, the count. There is a particular ex-Oba on the king list who is cursed repeatedly for destroying the people's good heritage. Their Kora beats he buried in a carefully planned revenge action against his people. The Oba is remembered publicly every year with bolts of curses fired at his afterlife. Lagbaja who threw away valuable assets into the bush. If he died well, he will compulsorily not sleep well. It is because of harsh judgment of history like this that kings are too taught to behave well and rule well. The Oba whose reign brings peace will be forgotten. The one who brings chaos won't be forgotten. History has carefully kept book of life. It also keeps very well the lake of fire. So these are about the Obas, the kings, the royalties that we have in Nigeria. From the southern part of Nigeria to the northern part of Nigeria. One was actually being tracked by his own governor in the northern part of Nigeria. And some of them might take so much, they might reverence their kings and say, oh, our king is special. The Oba of Benin is spectacular. Our king is this and that. The point is that 99% of them are political kings. If you say that is not correct, let us meet at the comment section. Share your opinion. If you're a member of this channel, I say a very big thank you for the support. And if you're not, let us grow together by tapping on the subscription button and the red notification icon bell below. It would alert you whenever videos are uploaded. Thanks for stopping by.